Many investors and advisors spend valuable time trying to predict where the market is going to head. It is an unsustainable and futile exercise, usually does not work at all. If you ask me, if you have a Q&A and you ask me where the market is going to be, the most frequently asked question is, where will the Sensex be after 1 year? I can give you an answer very confidently. I will give you an answer, and you cannot hold me accountable to it, because where I'll be after 1 year, where you would be after 1 year, no one knows. You will ask me, Harish, where's the market going to be? Okay, I'll tell it's 22,400 with certainty. After 1 year, you won't be able to track me. What I told will certainly be wrong. Whatever number I told would be wrong. So it's basically an unsustainable and futile exercise trying to predict where the market is going to be. Again, going back to the IPL, if you see the pre-match shows and all that, each of these experts predict who's going to be the winner and all that, and most of the time they are wrong. Correct? Then there's another fantastic investment guru called John Bogle. Now, John Bogle is really the high priest of integrity as far as investing is concerned. Now, so he's really the final word on where the US should be heading as far as investment management is concerned. So he is basically the investments world's conscience board, the sounding board for the right stuff, ethics and integrity. He runs a trillion dollar plus mutual fund house called Vanguard that doesn't have a presence in India. Vanguard is basically a passive fund manager. A passive fund manager is one who invests only in index funds. They do not take a call on individual stocks. Whatever is there in an index is where John Bogle's Vanguard invests in. Their real strength is in managing costs. They offer the funds at extremely low costs, costs that are probably unbelievably low, and the cost savings is passed on back to the investor. So these are some gems from John Bogle. One, there is simply no escaping risk. Wherever we go, there will be risk. Money in a savings bank account is at risk. You are at risk of inflation. Like he says, it may be dollar safe, but inflation eroded. Okay, your savings bank account is not going to pay for the 3 rupees increase in milk price. Correct? The savings bank is not going to pay for a 40% increase in water tariff in Bangalore. The savings bank account is not going to pay for your increase in electricity prices or your airfares. So all of these are going to increase. So you need to have some money in those things that can beat inflation. But the problem with equity is volatility. The risk in equity, when you invest in shares and mutual funds of equity as an asset class, the risk there is volatility. It is the NAV is 15 rupees one day. After 1 year, the NAV can be 12 rupees. So that is the other risk, the risk of volatility. So what John Bogle always maintains is you should have some amount of money in a fixed income and you should have some amount of money in equity. Your financial planner, based on your risk profile, based on your stage in life, based on your investment objectives, based on the time horizon you have got, he will suggest this. The most important mix that is called asset allocation. How much of your money should go into equities? How much of your money should go in fixed income? How much of your money should be in an emergency cash account? So those are the things that a financial planner will do for you. So, but you need to keep these two in mind. If you are in equities, the risk is volatility. If you are in fixed income, the risk is in inflation eroding your quality of life. Buy right, hold tight, another big thing. What John Bogle says is not which security that you select is most important, what sort of asset allocation decision that you're going to make, which is the most important determinant of how much of money you're going to make later. So asset allocation is the most important decision that an investor such as you has to make. And hold on, even if the markets are zigging and zagging. If the markets are like a roller coaster, you've got to hold on. Like I said earlier, it takes an entire investment cycle or an economic cycle to separate the really good companies from the bad companies or the poor performing companies. It takes time for sometimes the market to realize or to reflect the gains that a good company will have. And change the asset allocation not based on the Sensex figures. Don't have to do that at all. You have to change asset allocation based on your stage in life, based on your changing investment objectives. That's all. So in case husband and wife both are working and the wife drops out to to raise the family, then that is a change in life. If one of the spouses is taking up a job again, that's a change in life. If you're moving from India to work in the Gulf and you're going to get 3 times the salary, that's a change in life. If your father has passed away, leaving you a substantial legacy, That's a change in life. So only in those occasions you should change your asset allocation. Time is your friend, impulse is your enemy. So how many of you in this room are below 30 years? So I think Deepak has got a fairly good investors to work with. I think about 70% of you in this room are below 30 years. You know, Gerard will agree with me how we wish that we were below 30. Okay? So that I never had any plan until I was nearly 35 years, financial plan. So those of you who are below 30, time is your friend. This is the right time to build a long-term financial plan, take the risk required to create wealth. Impulse is your enemy. That's the problem with youth again, impulse, okay? So impulse is your enemy, realize that. So forget timing the market. When you time the market, you need to get two decisions right. Exit or entry and exit. So don't even do it. Getting one decision right itself is very, very difficult. Getting two right is nearly impossible. Stocks can be undervalued or overvalued throughout an entire cycle. So that's why you need to wait through the entire cycle, because sometimes it might not reflect. People, the really great investors like Warren Buffett and all that, are there, you know, period of holding, like they say, is forever. Okay, Warren Buffett has taken a huge stake in a rail company called Burlington National Santa Fe. He is certainly, you know, having a 10 to 20 year time horizon minimum for that, railroad company to give him the returns. Ignoring the noise in the market could well be your biggest strength. So if those of you who like CNBC and NDTV Profit, how many of you see CNBC, NDTV Profit, ET Now and all that? How many of you know that there's a mute button in the remote? That's a very good button for these channels. So ignore the noise. See if you want to see some developments, ticker, some breaking news and all that. Otherwise, that mute button is very good for it. Listen to some good Bollywood music in the background with them giving the ticker news. Realistic expectations, the bagel and the donut. This is again what John Bogle says. Investment returns comprise of dividend yield and earnings growth. So when you invest in equities as an asset class, your underlying returns come from dividend that equity gives you or that share gives you, and earnings growth. The company has to grow. So that growth in earnings will translate into growth in share price. So this is symbolized by the bagel. The bagel is there on top. Bagel is basically a bread, okay, which is very nutritious, wholesome filling. It does not have anything that is not unnecessary in it. So that's you eat one bagel and then it will fill your stomach. So it is nutritious, filling and wholesome. The donut is akin. The donut has got is dipped in chocolate, made very attractive. Okay. So if you take your son to buy a donut or a bagel, there is simply no competition. Why, even all of us will buy a donut, correct? A chocolate covered donut is what we would like to eat. But that is speculative return. So when an investor invests in stocks, he is looking for both investment return and speculative return. Investment return is what you really should be ideally looking for. And if you don't get the investment return, then you are in a problem. In all likelihood, over a long period of time, you will get the investment return. But if you get speculative return, take it and run. I mean, you shouldn't refuse it, but if you get speculative return, take it and run. But over a period of time, the speculative return goes up, down, and sorts of evens out. It's the investment return that you get, the dividend and the earnings growth. Beware of fighting the last war is what again John Bogle says. Investors carry too much of baggage from the last cycle. So when the market, some of you might have remembered in 2000, especially those of you in Bangalore working in tech sector, 2000 there was a meltdown in the tech sector. There were a lot of things, negative things happening in the Indian economy in the year 2000. You had the, India's largest mutual fund